Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Flame of Love conference, our first National Flame of Love conference for Ireland. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we start. Most of you will be familiar with Jitsi and how it works, but we've quite a lot of panels on the screen today. So if you could keep your microphones on mute, please, and your cameras off while there somebody is speaking, and the speaker then can keep theirs on. The day will be interactive to a great extent. So as we go through the day, you will get an opportunity to contribute where you feel you'd like to do so. And in that case, you can turn on your microphone or camera if you wish. Just so you're aware, this is being live streamed. So just bear that in mind if you're turning on your camera. So good morning again. Welcome everybody. For those who haven't met me, my name is Joe Sheehan. I'm a member of the working group for the Flame of Love. We meet once a month to discuss matters that are relevant to the spreading of the Flame of Love in Ireland. And we've met more frequently in the last couple of weeks to prepare for this day, our first conference, our first annual conference. Sorry, our first national conference, I should say. And I particularly like to welcome John Sullivan. John is Director of Communications and International Dissemination in the Flame of Love US. Many of you will have met him before and will have heard John speak and pray. So John will be our keynote speaker later today, and it's in the early morning here, but it's particularly early morning where John is, so I particularly welcome him today. This address would rightly be given by Paul Oglesby, our National Coordinator for the Flame of Love in Ireland. But Paul got COVID a couple of weeks ago, and his recovery is not as quick as he would have hoped. So he doesn't have the energy levels yet for a day like today. So we remember Paul in our prayers today for a speedy and a full recovery. In a moment, we'll open with a prayer. But just before that, I'll let you know how we envisage the day panning out. After the opening prayer, we'll have a little discussion around the history of the Flame of Love in Ireland. The Flame of Love has set up in Ireland about a year ago, and Francis Devaney will lead us in that little discussion. Francis will fill us in on some of the early issues that took place before it kicked off, and then Dymphna will fill us in on the early establishment of the movement, and then others who've come along since then will fill in their experiences. I can fill in my experiences. Perhaps Keith or Alice can share how they got involved. After that, Alice will facilitate a discussion on establishing local cenicals, and if anybody has any experience in that, feel free to share those experiences. There will then be an open discussion, which Alice again will facilitate, where I expect some of the themes that came up in the early part we can discuss those, and we'll have an open floor. As I say, it's many of these sessions will be interactive, so feel free to contribute as you feel prompted. That should take us to about 11:15, at which stage we'll take a short break of 10 to 15 minutes. After the break, then John will address us, and John will address a topic of general formation within the context of the Flame of Love. And for those of you who if heard John speak and pray before, that is something that's well worth tuning in for and being back for after the break. Then we will outline again, facilitated by Alice, our plans for 2022, like a roundtable chat with those who've been involved, and we can outline what we anticipate happening in 2022, what we hope and pray for in the year ahead. We'll then have a question and answer session, which will be again open to anybody, and Alice will facilitate that. And then John will give us his closing address and lead us in prayer for going our way. So for the opening prayer, I selected a prayer from the breviary for Saturday of actually of week 4, but I thought the theme of the prayers of what was prayed for in there were what would be consistent what we would wish of the day. So that prayer will be a prayer to God our Father to send us His Holy Spirit to guide us and direct us on our way today, that through the day we may walk with Jesus through the intercession of His Blessed Mother and the protection and direction of Saint Joseph. God's gift was not a spirit of timidity, but a spirit of power and love and self-control. With complete confidence we pray, Father, send us your Spirit. By the power of the Holy Spirit, Mary brought Jesus into the world. Through the Church, may Jesus be born again today in the hearts of all of us. Father, send us your Spirit. Father, may our Spirit lead us forward. May He lead us to open the eyes of the blind, proclaim the word of light, to reap together the harvest of life. Let our striving for your kingdom not fall short through selfishness or fear. May the universe be alive with the Spirit, and our homes be the pledge of a world redeemed. Father, send us your Spirit. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Our Lady of Fatima, pray for us. Saint Joseph, pray for us. So Francis, please, if you would like to lead us on the first topic.
Okay. Hi, and may God be praised for all the mercies that He has given us through His Blessed Mother. Well, I got to know the Flame of Love a good many years ago, and I don't know how or why, but it really took hold of me, and I started to search, and I eventually got the website, the Canadian website. And I was able to order books and booklets and some prayer cards, and that was great. And so I started out giving them out to everybody that I would meet, and wherever I was, I would always have a booklet. Now I gave a lot of the booklets to various priests, and that I would go from place to place and go and meet them in their house and give them the booklets. And then I got a second lot from Canada. And after that, Canada, for whatever reason, I think there may have been a debt, and then there was a rejigging of their website. So I wasn't able to purchase anymore. So I started to search around, and I found the Flame of Love US. And I'd also been looking at Father James Blunt and Father Altman talking on YouTube videos about the Flame of Love. And it really struck me that there was a connection between the Flame of Love, the Divine Mercy, and the Divine Will. And that really pushed me to try and do some more. So I was really delighted. While I couldn't order any prayer cards from the Flame of Love US, they had a booklet that was able to be downloaded. So I took liberties on that, and I downloaded a lot and printed off a lot of booklets. And then I took, because I'd searched, and I really had searched to try and get the prayer cards, I eventually went to the local printer, and I got them professionally made, exactly what I had received from Quebec. No changes, exactly a thing. So I've been getting these printed every now and again, and then I just continued on, going to various functions in the prayer group. I would send out the cards, and when it would be my turn to lead on occasion, not on all occasions, but on occasions I would ask permission to say the petition in the Hail Mary. And it took a long time, but now people will answer answers, and they have permitted me to do that. But in all the conferences that we went to, Maria Vadias and Eddie Stone, all of these, I would bring the cards and I would say them, hand them out. And then a friend, Annie, joined me, and we decided that we would do pilgrimages So where I would go off, Annie now joined me, and we went on a pilgrimage to Longford. We went to Leitrim, to Donegal, we've gone all over the place, and we make it a pilgrimage so that when we meet, we greet one another, and then once she gets into the car, then that's it. We start praying, and then we set out and we go to every church. We stop at every church that we come across, and we go to the parish house, and we ask the priest for permission, and we tell him what it's about, and we leave the cards then with his permission in the churches. We don't leave them in churches unless we've got permission. So we did this even throughout throughout COVID and the lockdown, but we were met very graciously by people who were very kind, and that so that's just what we've been doing, and I think it's, I've always found that priests, sometimes, God love them, you'll see their eyes glazing over, and that, but when you say the unity prayer with them, it opens up, and they just accept it, and it's been a lovely journey that we've been on, and it's been really nice, and we've gone to monasteries as well, so to give it like to the poor Clares and that. So that's really my bit on. I did just as the John O'Sullivan then emailed me to say that that would I be interested in a Senecal, and that Paul Oglesby was starting it. So of course I was delighted, and that was really great. So that was the start of a new venture now, which is absolutely brilliant. And what I think is fantastic, oh yeah, and I'd missed out on the first, because sometimes the internet here where I am is not very good, so I missed out on the first one. But I had decided at that stage just to write to the bishops, so I wrote to my own bishop, Kevin Dorn, and Bishop Fonzie, and then I decided to be really cheeky and to write to the Archbishop, Eamon Martin, the Primate of all Ireland, and I enclosed copies and booklets and all the information of everything to them. So I think now the last conference that I was at was on the Medjugorje conference in Knock, and it was great because I was meeting people, and when I go to hand them the card, they were saying, "Oh, I know about that," and it's just brilliant. It's just brilliant to see it all go. So thanks to John, who put me in touch with Paul Oglesby, and thanks very much to Joe and to Dimna and Alice and all the working party, and I'm really grateful for it all. And thank you very much. So I'll give it back to you, Joe.
Thank you, Frances. Thank you very much. Do you want to pick up on the early days when Film Love did get going through Paul's initiative, and how Paul came in contact?
Good morning, everybody. It's great to be here, and thank you, Frances, for that lovely talk. It's brilliant that you've done so much work, and I think I probably would have received some of those cards, especially the one with the image of Jesus on it and the unity prayer in the back. I would have received that a good while ago, so no doubt it came through yourself. My involvement with the Flame of Love started in 2016, where my husband and I were going on pilgrimage to Krakow to the Divine Mercy Shrine, and I had a book in the house that I had bought some time before that, and it was called The Flame of Love. Now there was about 250 pages in it, but anyway, I decided I'd bring the book with me on the flight, just have something to read on the flight, and if there was quiet moments during the pilgrimage that I'd read up on it. I was really fascinated with it. I think why I bought that book initially was because I had read on the internet about this prayer that could blind Satan, the unity prayer. So that's why I purchased the book. So anyway, I read the book. I was really intrigued with the book and all that Elizabeth went through, and I just think she's a fantastic woman. And to persevere, she had come through hard times. It wasn't difficult. It wasn't easy for her. She was rearing a big family, and the war was on and everything. But her love for Our Lady and for Jesus really shone through the book. And she kept going, and she kept going to the priests and bringing the message about the flame of love to them. So anyway, then stepping on from that, I came back from Krakow, and I decided then, I was in a local prayer group here as well. It was a Divine Mercy, Our Lady of Knock prayer group. And we had been together at that stage from 2002, and the book needed to be revamped. So I decided this unity prayer was definitely going into the revamped version of the new Divine Mercy, Our Lady of Knock prayer group. And everybody took on to it. They liked it. They could see the purpose in it and that. And it was a prayer that we said at the very beginning of our prayer group, along with the prayer to St. Michael. It was like a protection prayer for the prayer group. So then in 2020, I'm jumping on here, but in 2020, we were in the middle of the pandemic, and I had already started a perpetual adoration prayer group, and that was going really well. And then I had joined a Divine Mercy prayer group where we were praying for one country per day throughout the world. And then in September of 2020, I thought, do you know, why do we do that for Ireland and pray for one county per day, and have different intentions, and do the Divine Mercy Chaplet and have different intentions, prayer intentions for each decade of the Divine Mercy Chaplet. So in September 2020, I set about that group. And what I done was I created on a WhatsApp group, and I should say the adoration group was set up in a WhatsApp group as well. So what I done was I created a link and put it into the perpetual adoration group, and people joined the 32 County Ireland prayer group from it, and they also sent it out to their friends. And in no time we had maybe 200 people praying in that group, which was brilliant. And that was September. And I had put in the unity prayer into it. And Paul had joined the group, I think around September, October. And he had said to me something to the effect about how he'd love the unity prayer and he'd love the flame of love and all of that. So then come November, I put the Hail Mary prayer in with Mary's intention into it. And I explained to the group that when you said the prayer, the Hail Mary, with this additional wording in it, that during the month of November, that we were saving 10 holy souls. But that if you said it any other time of the year with that prayer intention in it, you had to say it 3 times to save a soul. So anyway, thank God, the campaign, it was really, really, the numbers, the people really responded to it, and they said the Hail Mary. And please God, a lot of them still say the Hail Mary that way. And then it just, the conversation between Paul and I, the messages just kept continuing. And then I don't know whether it was he suggested or I suggested it, would we try and start up a Flame of Love group? We ended up then, we started the Flame of Love Senegal, done the same thing again, set up a WhatsApp group, and then put the messages into the group, and then people joined it. And I know Alice was in the 32 County Ireland prayer group, and I know Joe was in it as well, and they came into the Flame of Love as well. I mean, there's several others. I mean, it's just because they're here on the screen in front of me that I know that they definitely joined. So that's how it started. And then John was there to help us. And, we set up a working committee. I think the first time we met was on a Sunday night. And we had downloaded the prayers. And, the prayers, they were beautiful. When you see the mysteries of the rosary, and you know that each word of them is taken out of the Flame of Love diary, it really brings it alive to you, and it really puts it on your heart how much that Our Lady desires this, that the flame of love really spread, and the promises with it are absolutely amazing. So you couldn't help but fall in love for it and want what Our Lady wants. She's our mother. And she only wants what's best for us. And why would we want to do the best for her as well? So I think that first Senegal, then we started off on the Sunday night. There was maybe 20 in it, 26 in it. And it was going really well. So then we had the live stream with John as well. And thank God more people came on board after that. And then I decided, just maybe give people more opportunity to join the Senegals, to maybe branch out and have more Senegals. Maybe say, I suggested that we have one on a Tuesday morning at 7 o'clock, and thank God that's going really well. We have regular attendance at it. There's 6 members there every morning. I know that doesn't seem much, but I mean, that's 6 people praying together, the flame of love, and it's fantastic. And then another option I give was on Wednesday at 11 a.m. and we have 5 or 6. We'd 6 there last Wednesday at 11 a.m. And again, it's just absolutely profound, and everybody loves it. That's the one thing everybody will say, that they just love. They love the prayers themselves, and they like the fact that we're praying together. We may not be physically together, but we're spiritually together. And I have 2 friends, and they're not that, well, they claim themselves, they're not that literate with computers and one thing and another, and they didn't like the idea of coming on to Jitsi. They'd rather do it face to face, because you see, we were in the prayer group together. So I joined them on a Monday, and we do face to face. So there's 3 of us in that group. But I know that this is only the start. We've gone through the baby stages, and now we're at the toddler stage, and please God, we'll be ready to run. And after the conference today, please God, more people will join us. Another development then that I've done, because, and again, it's you pick up so much from the diary. But I mean, one of the prayers we read was where Our Lady had asked that we invoke the Hungarian saints, particularly St. Stephen and his son, St. Emmerich. So that's something I've included now whenever we're doing the Flame of Love prayers. When we start off in the morning, we invoke the saints to intercede with us as well. And of course, we bring in all the Irish saints as well, and the martyrs and all the holy souls that we have rescued through their Flame of Love prayer. But there's room for more. And then again, through reading the diary, or one of the diary readings one morning, Our Lady talked about how important it is to console the heart of Jesus. So that was another thing I helped to develop as well, that we meet on a Friday evening. We were meeting at 11, from 11 p.m. to 12 midnight, and we'd offer the Cenacle prayers, the entire prayers. We'd offer it to make reparation to the Sacred Heart of Jesus. And then we dovetail that with another hour of prayer between 12 midnight and 1 a.m. And we offer that hour of prayer to make reparation for the insult to Our Lady's Immaculate Heart. And that's ongoing as well. So it's just, it keeps developing, and it's great to have that freedom to develop within the Flame of Love. You know, we don't always meet in the one Cenacle, but I do think that's one thing. I think the Sacred Heart and Our Lady, we all make the effort to join for that, no matter what Cenacle we're in. We always sort of come together for those Cenacles. So there's great potential with this group, and I just know that it will just keep growing. And that if you're listening into this and you have ideas on how to help us to spread it, please don't be shy and come forward. Come forward and help us, and keep saying the prayers. It's absolutely beautiful prayer. Like, to be able to blame Satan is fantastic. You know, to have that opportunity to stop him in his work, and to protect people that maybe otherwise would commit mortal sin. You know, it's just fantastic. And another wee development I was involved in as well was the prayer book. We felt that we needed to bring the prayers all together. I know we had them on pages, and it was very good and was very useful, and some people prayed that way, but the prayer book is brilliant. I've just marked mine down the side where the mysteries is, where I can flick to it. But it's great to be able to hold this prayer book in our hand. And at the minute, we're currently doing the novena, and the novena is beautiful. But, you know, I mean, if you haven't started, you can still join in for the last 3 days. We can make the novena prayers available to you. The novena is, again, extracts from the diary itself, and it just focuses you again on what Our Lady wanted, and that we're given the opportunity to be able to help Our Lady to spread the flame of love. It's wonderful. It's a great grace and a great blessing, and we're learning from it all the time. Thank you, Joe. I'll hand over to you, Joe, now. I know this was your time slot as well, so I'll give you can bring it on from there.
Thanks, Nimpla. Thank you very much. As Nimpla mentioned there, my own point of view, I joined the 32 county, I expect, back in November 2020. Time flies. I don't even can't even know what year I have now.
Yeah.
But in the 32 county, I came across Unity Prayer, and that's come up a couple times already today, and that really struck me. And then when Templeton mentioned that Paul was starting up the Cynical, the idea of having being part of a Cynical, part of a prayer group was something I would have always wished to be a part of. And I said, wow, okay, I'm going to go for that. And being honest, at the time, I didn't know the first thing about the Flame of Love, but I'd seen the Unity Prayer, and the first Cynical I was on the Sunday night. If it's not properly expressed, it just blew my mind. I felt, wow, I've no business here. I'm out of my depth here. But it was fantastic, and there was a wave of enthusiasm then for a while. And it was like Templeton mentioned the thought of learning to walk. We stumbled a little bit for a while, I'd say, but then as the year went on, and we produced the booklet, and we increased the number of online Cynicals. We also have one on a Tuesday night, and Alice facilitates on a Friday night. Fiona had started one on a Thursday. The momentum has come back in again. You can see it. You can see the activity increasing on the WhatsApp groups. Also what we did, of course, is as we progressed through the year was the newsletter, and the online newsletter, which Keelty put some tremendous work into producing, and it's a really professional production. Our first quarterly newsletter was issued just before Christmas, and then of course a lot of work has gone into today and preparing for today. So that's kept me busy in terms of the Flame of Love over the last few weeks. I said, unfortunately, Paul can't be here, but I think we should probably acknowledge he's as the Templeton has he's initiative in terms of kicking it all off. It's a pity he couldn't be with us today, but please God, he'll be back up and running very soon. So that's it for me. Do you want to say anything, Alice or Keelty?
Yes, I'd like to thank you very much, Templeton and Joe. That was fantastic. And to follow on from that, from those early beginnings, we had Fiona. Joe mentioned very briefly about Fiona. I took over from Fiona on Thursday night. She had the Cynical on Thursday night, and then she decided to have a Cynical in the church. She was very, very lucky to get permission from her local parish priest to have to host the Cynical in the church in Newry. And there's now 15 to 20 people attending that face-to-face Cynical, and it is absolutely fabulous. And Mary Austin, she also has a Cynical. It's just growing out of all proportion. There's 12 people meet face-to-face. They're not online. They meet together. These wonderful prayer warriors they're spreading the word so beautifully. And there's also Mary Foley and many others who are spreading this Flame of Love movement. And we wondered why there wasn't so many in the Cynicals. They're all meeting face to face. But yeah. I took over the Cynical on Thursday, and then there was a lot of people said that they had other commitments on Thursday night. And I also had commitments on Thursday night. So I got permission from Paul to move it till Friday. And there are times when there are maybe 10 people there. Sometimes there's only 3 or 4. But however, if there are 2 or more gathered in my name, I'm there with the boss is with us. So we just keep on plugging away at it. And we have Helga from Germany who joins us. And she's also trying to start up Cynicals in Germany. And she's doing very well. And her English is fantastic. It was very limited when she joined us at first, but it's come on wonderfully. And she is spreading the word in Germany.